Welcome everybody to December's edition of the Lytho Lowdown Live. For anybody who this might be your first time joining, this is our once a month session where we get the opportunity to show you what Lytho has really been up to in the previous month, and you get the chance to ask any questions that you might have. I am lucky to be joined today by Stephanie Hausner. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Yes, she'll be the one taking us through the demo part of today's session. And so, as always, we've got some exciting content to show you guys. And so, really, um, this is the last Litho Lowdown Live of 2024. The next time we see each other in this will be 2025. And I was doing some reflecting just on really everything that we've delivered over this past year. And so much of it has been in direct response to the feedback that you all have provided. So for anybody who is somehow unfamiliar, we have what is called the wish list, and all of your feedback gets documented and organized to help really fuel our product roadmap and ensure we're delivering the functionality that you need most. And so with that, I wanted to give you all kind of a broader view of how your feedback has helped directly impact Litho and our products. So, 306 wishes, individual wishes, have been granted so far in 2024, with a little bit of wiggle room left. I don't know what could come in under that finish line. But you know, this list, and to be honest with you, it's not even completely the full list of everything. But these are really the features and enhancements that were released this year that were shaped by those 306 wishes. And so I know that we say all the time that we want your feedback, but we really, really mean it. You all helped do this, and I think that it really speaks to the partnership that we strive to achieve. And now I'll say I wish that we had the time to dig into all of these. But for today, we're going to take a look actually at the top three most wished for features that were delivered this year. And if you're looking at this and trying to take screenshots and really wanting to dig deeper, fret not. In the follow-up email with the recording, I'm going to include this list with all the correlating knowledge-based materials so that you can really dig in and ensure you're taking advantage of what's available to you to its fullest. And so we're going to go through the 2 to 3 top wishes. I want to give you guys a little bit of insight into some of the feedback that was provided to help shape those. And then Stephanie is going to give us a full demo of what each of these looks like, the best practices, and you'll have plenty of time to ask any questions about these. And so the number 3 most wished for feature that was delivered this year is something that was very recently released, and that is direct links to request forms. So this is that ability to grab a direct link to your request form and place it in any materials or communications that you might want to. And so, and again, I wanna kind of show you guys what some of this feedback was. So we had somebody say, having a large stakeholder audience means people don't always know which form to use. Another piece was it's really important for our stakeholder experience for them to be able to go directly to the forms that we point them to. And then lastly, for this, we are trying to create a resource center for stakeholders in our DAM. And so ideally, we were wanting to lead directly to a form that will be specific for each campaign. So clearly, you guys really, really needed a way for stakeholders to easily access the form, the exact form that they need, rather than having to navigate and go through that drop-down list. So I think that this is a huge, huge win. Again, Stephanie will demo all of this. So we're going to move on to the number two most wished for feature. This again was very recently released, and that is the Microsoft Teams and Slack integrations. So this is going to be when you turn on that integration for either Slack or Teams, whatever you're using, your team will now receive a notification right there when they're invited to a review. Um, so some of the feedback that helped fuel this, we do most of our collaboration in Teams. And if we could access Lytho through a Teams app instead of using the website, that'd be awesome. I agree, it would be awesome. The ability to access reviews from Slack would make our reviewers' lives much easier. And then looking for a way to consolidate their various notifications, including those from Lytho into Slack. So I think that a lot of this is about the fact that a lot of, especially your stakeholders, aren't in Lytho workflow all day long, and they need a way to access those reviews and the tool within the tools that they're using on a more regular basis. Okay. And finally, our number one most wished for feature, which was released a good bit earlier in the year, is shared custom views. This is huge for a lot of you. Again, this had the most wishes around it. And there are really two main pieces of feedback when I was going through this. First one, getting other users to create custom views and reports with the right filters is time consuming, right? A lot of team members, they're wanting to create art, not custom views. And then secondly, it would be really great if I could create a custom view and share it with the team so I know we are all looking at and working from the same view. And I think that is huge, knowing that all of the correct filters and columns or the way that you're viewing is the same so that when you get into those stand-ups or those meetings, you understand that you're all kind of playing off of the same sheet music, if you will. So I do want to just say thank you for all the feedback that you guys have provided. I think that it has turned into some really wonderful enhancements this year. And without further ado, I'm going to pass the screen over to Stephanie so that she can guide us through all of this goodness.
Thank you, Natalie. I really did appreciate that you shared the feedback from people and like what people are asking for that contributed to these, because having that context just really helps bring them so much more to life. But let's dig
Yeah.
into some demos.
And hopefully, I'm sure it resonated with a good amount of you.
Yeah. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about are direct links to request forms. Before I dig into like just demonstrating how that works, I want to show you how you can make sure you've got the right permissions to do this. So I'm logged into my demo account right now as an admin, and I'll just show you all the permission that you'll need to make sure you've got in your role. So I'm coming to my account settings, I'm clicking on roles and permissions. This person here, Christy, she's an admin, but I'll just show you under team member. You'll need to make sure that you have this manage templates turned on. So any user with this permission will be able to access the template part of your site and manage those templates. We're going to be looking at the form templates. So I've got this one toggled on for me. I'm going to come over here to templates and then check out my forms. This is the one that I want to share out with other people, this update to existing collateral. And what I can do is I'll just click on this action menu over here and I can copy this request link. I've clicked on this, it's copied it to my pasteboard. I could also click into this request form here and access that action menu here, copy the request link this way. And then I'll just open up a new tab and paste this so you can see what this looks like. It's going to take me directly to this request form. You are submitting a request for update to existing collateral. You can then enter in the name for the request and then access the request form and begin to fill it out. I want to come back to this in just a minute because I want to show you some of the use cases that Natalie mentioned. Um, you could use this link in a brand guide, which is what I want to show you in a second. I was just thinking that when I was a customer before joining Lytho, I used to get a lot of requests for work via email. And what I did to sort of make my life easier is I had a templated email that I set up in Outlook just to kindly redirect people back to Lytho to let them know that we had this creative brief for everybody to fill out, and I had screenshots in that email template. Now with this, I could also include like a link for folks to access the exact request form that they need to use. But for right now, I'd like to just work through what this would look like if I were to add this to a brand guide.
I love that. And I will say I would love to hear how if you've started implementing this or if you were planning to, how you're going to use it. I think that could help provide other people some good ideas.
That's great. Would they add that to the Q&A part or the chat?
Chat is open. So
Chat is
chat
open.
or
Okay, great.
Q&A. If you're in chat though, make sure to toggle to everyone, not hosts and panelists, because we love to see your chats, but everybody else would love to also. Zoom
That's
can be weird with those.
yeah, it's true. All right, so here I am in my demo account. I'm in the DAM. These are my brand, this is my brand center. So I'm seeing all my brand guides. I want to add this link to this brand guide here. So this is a brand guide for brand aid. And I'm going to just scroll down over here in my sidebar to creative requests. So I've got these links here that are already created that would take my stakeholders to those request forms. I'm going to add one now for this request form, the update to existing collateral. So I'm going to add in a button. I'm going to call this update to existing collateral. And then I'm going to paste that link. I do want this to open up in a new window, so it's not going to just replace this brand guide when they're in the browser. I want it to open up in a new window. And I'll just add that link. There we go. And let's publish this. Whenever I make an update to my brand guide, I get this opportunity to add in a description of the changes I made. So I'm going to add in my initials. Added new request form button. Publish. So now my stakeholders, when they're accessing this, they can then click on this button here and it would take them directly to this request form. So let's go ahead and add in a request to holiday card for 2025, 2024. And here's this request form. By default, it takes me to just the request form that I want them to fill out. They could, if they wanted to, select a different request form, anyone that they already have access to, but this just gets them started with the exact request form that I want them to do. So this is going to come from external communications. This is from this brand, the shop. I'm going to set a due date for this. This is a rush request. I forgot Christmas is coming.
It
And
always sneaks up on us.
oh my gosh, it
It's
does,
Wednesday every
especially
year.
yeah. So I'm gonna now submit this request. So yeah, it's as simple as that. For right now, I'm also just gonna leave that one as is. The next wish that I'd like to talk through with you is Slack and Teams. So if I were to accept this request, and I'm working through the different tasks that are on this project, I get to the part where I've got a proof. So sorry, I'm like in my head, like, do I want to accept this now? Do I not want to accept this now? Doesn't matter. Okay, so let's talk about Slack and Teams. I want to show you where you're going to toggle on that functionality to integrate Slack and Teams into your workflow. So I'm going to come back to my account settings here. And just note that we've got these account setting integrations versus personal setting integrations. Slack and Teams is going to be an account-wide setting. So you'll need to come here to this account settings here versus your personal settings. And these are going to be individual just for you. So for Slack and Teams, this is going to be account-wide.
A
Um,
little spoiler Easter egg on what you can expect soon.
yeah. Um, So I'm going to toggle this on just to show you. I already have Slack turned on my computer, so this is a little bit funny what's happening here. But for you, it would give you a pop-up where then you would be able to connect Slack to your workflow instance. So you would need to log into Slack, and that's some of those materials that Natalie's going to send out later on with screenshots in our knowledge base for you to follow along with that. But I know like when we were talking internally about this functionality, I was like low key excited, but not really into it until I actually saw it. And I don't know why it made such a difference for me, but I wanted to show you guys what this looks like actually in Slack because that's what we use internally. For whatever reason, I just found this to be really exciting. I think, Natalie, you made this point earlier about how like having these notifications come into the tools that you're already in every day, it makes such a big difference. So I'm going to pull up Slack here. This is my Slack. Um, and I got this notification here from Natalie to submit this review. So this is what that is going to look like for your stakeholders when you invite them to submit a review or to leave their review on approve. So I'm going to click on this start your review. And yeah, this is the spoiler into what some work that we're doing right now on the review experience. So this is actually logging us into Lytho's own instance of Lytho workflow. Um,
Getting a peek behind the curtain. I know that we've talked a lot about how the reviews experience is changing. So
Hopefully this doesn't scare anybody. Like we really wanted to show you guys what this Slack experience is going to be like. So I just click on that button and I get taken directly to the review. So now I can come in here, I can start to give my feedback on this proof. And here, make the logo pop. And I can make my decision here. I guess maybe approved with changes is what I want. And I can submit that. So it just makes that flow so much more seamless when I'm working in Slack to be able to come directly into like the workflow.
and I know internally we have a team member who actually started adding herself to in the route so that she gets the notification as well. So when she wants to go check on a proof, it's just right there in Slack. It's definitely been a game changer for us internally. Reviews are getting completed at record speeds.
I know it makes it much easier for me because I don't manage my proofs through email. Having everything in Slack has made it a lot easier for me as like an actual stakeholder in our system. So coming back over, but I guess like were there any questions? I was not checking the chat. See if there's any questions about what we've done so far.
Yes, there is a question that I am actually seeking the answer to make sure that we get the correct answer to you because I'm not exactly sure. Um, Unless Stephanie, is there a way to only enable the Teams integration for a certain group of users, or will enabling Teams for our account force all users to receive notifications in Teams?
That I do not know. I'm guessing because it's an account-wide setting, it would be account-wide as opposed to something that you would manage under your personal settings. But
Yeah, I am double checking on that,
okay.
so we'll come back to that question. But that does pose a good point. If anybody has any questions about those direct links to request forms or anything else, as you think of questions, go ahead and pop them in that Q&A portion.
Mhm. I did, now that I'm checking the chat, I see that Catherine earlier had talked about the direct links to the request forms, that they've been helpful for our reluctant stakeholders who need more hand-holding. They try to send through a request through email, and I bounce it back with a link to the correct request form. Amazing. Yes, that's perfect. Yeah. Um, all right. Well, with this, if there aren't any other questions that are coming in right now, then let's talk about those shared custom views. This was, as Natalie mentioned, our most viral enhancement that was delivered. So if you're not using it, why not get on the train? You're missing out. You can share any of the views that you build out in your site with your coworkers or people who have access to Lytho. So I just wanted to show you a couple of things, a couple of use cases for this. So say I am here at this work level, and I want to create a Kanban view. I think this Kanban view is pretty cool in that it's visual in nature, and a lot of us are visual people. I'm going to just tweak some of my filters. So here I'm able to filter on what I'm seeing here. When I'm in this Kanban view, any of these cards, if I click and drag them from one column to another, that automatically updates the status of that task. So it's a very visual way to be able to manage your work. And it gives me this thumbnail of proofs that are in my system. So it's a very nice like snapshot of where things are at. And if I wanted to save this as a new view and then share it with people who are on my team, maybe this is for our weekly team stand up. I save this as a new view, and then I can, let's click on this, and then I can share this with other people. So I might share it with some of my team members so that they will have access to this too. And we would all be seeing this same Kanban view. This is helpful if I want to see things in a calendar view or in a Gantt chart view. This same view would be shared with everybody else. I would have found this so helpful because for people that may not be accessing Lytho every day and are not fully versed in like the hierarchy of work that's in here, it can be kind of confusing at first if you're like, wait, was that a project? Was that a task that I was just looking at? You can make sure that everybody on your team is finding exactly what they need to find and that they're seeing exactly what they need to see. Another example of this I wanted to show you was in requests. So for example, it is shared with me view. So this is a view that one of my colleagues set up, and I can see all the requests that have come in using a specific request form. This is a filter that was added. This is that same request form that we used at the beginning of this demo, this update to existing collateral. It's showing me all the requests that have come in using this. So if I share this with my colleagues, we can all see the exact same things here. I can see the status of these different requests. These have all been submitted, but not yet accepted. I can see whether or not they're rush requests and then that rush reason. So this is also one of the wishes that were granted this year, is also being able to see these custom fields in the request view. So that's really powerful for team members that are trying to like share an inbox of incoming requests. There's one other really exciting thing about this I wanted to talk about, and then I'll pause and see what questions there are. But once I've created this custom view and then shared it with other people, this is a unique URL up here. So I could take this same URL and then share it in an email or in a brand guide, just like we were talking about earlier with those links to the direct links to request forms. This is something that I'll just do a shout out to Nick. He recently discovered this, and I think this is so powerful. So if you all don't know Nick at Lytho, he's one of our I don't know, our power users over here. So I really like this because if I did have, maybe I had a brand guide for my team or just some sort of internal documentation, I could include a link to like this to a specific view that I want them to see. So this might be an example, this business school rebrand. This is a custom view that's been set up based on tags. And I've shared this with my coworkers. And then I could have this link that I could share with them in an email or in a brand guide, other places. And then they can come back to this. I'm just going to open this up in another tab so you can see the magic at work. And we can all make sure that we're on the same page and seeing the same work. I'll just pause
Love
there
it.
and see what questions have come up, if there's comments.
Yeah, and so I wanna go back to the Slack and Teams integration real quick because there was another question that came in around that, but to answer the question about
Yeah.
if you can, have the Teams integration just for specific users. So one thing to note about this integration is for a lot of organizations, it is going to require some blessings from your IT department, and for a lot of people, they'll need to set it up since it is that direct integration. So when you're talking to your IT team about this, you would just want to let them know which users to bring in, or if there are any that want to be excluded, because there are groups that are set up when enabling this on the team's side of things. So the short answer is yes. You can in fact exclude people from this integration if you've got a subset of people that just really don't want that in their workflow. And then there was another question in the chat asking um, if you set this up, if you'll still get the email notifications. And that answer is yes. All of your email and desktop notifications will maintain their settings that you set up on the account level and then on the personal level. So that won't mess with any email notifications whatsoever. Okay, quick.
I did also see Rebecca had a question about the custom views. She asked, when sharing a custom view, will others be able to click on tasks and projects when sharing a report? They can't. This would just be for team members. Even team members can't click on things within a shared report. You're right. So that is different with sharing the custom view. I'll just give you this example where I'm at right now. These are views that have been shared with me. I didn't set up these custom views, but I can click into these and I can access those projects and the tasks that are in here. So this is it's live as opposed to that report. You are correct, Rebecca. If you share a report, you're just seeing the list. You can't interact with it. Shared custom views do allow you to interact with the items that are displayed in there. So glad you asked that. That was also, it's a great differentiator between the shared custom views and reports.
Yeah, I feel like the key difference is that custom views are for you to be able to work out of.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't know. I create a lot more custom views than reports.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Reports are nice if you want to like download the information and do any like I don't know, things with like Excel, some sort of Excel magic. Um, Throw it into like Chat GPT or Copilot and have it analyze the report for you. There's a lot you could do that way. It's a whole other topic.
Absolutely. All right. Gonna give people just a minute to kind of take all that in. I know that there always tends to be a few last minute questions that roll in. So while we're waiting for those last ones to roll in, I do want to mention that you might have noticed that there isn't another Lytho Lowdown on the schedule, but worry not. This is definitely a series that we're going to continue into 2025. We are going to take a break in January just because of where that Friday hits is right around the new year, but you will see a new invite come out. And so I will definitely communicate that, ensure that you guys all get that, can get it on your calendar so that we're ready to go for February 2025. And I'll also include a note in the follow-up email, but just so that you all are aware, we won't do this in January, but it will be back. Okay, and with that, I actually don't see any more questions coming in. Hopefully that means that these are really easy, super value forward enhancements that have come out. If at any point, you are needing some help implementing this into your process, you know that we're always here. Reach out to us at success at litho.com or directly to your customer success manager. Um, and thank you all so much for joining us on your Friday morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. And we will see you in 2025.
Woohoo!
All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
See you, Natalie.